Alright, good morning everybody. This is Z Street 3 here, back to a brand new video. More March Madness recaps. Final day, which was yesterday, Sunday, of the round of 32 teams. We now have our Sweet 16 set. So let's go ahead and get to these games and see who is joining the Sweet 16. First off on the day, 8 seed UConn versus 1 seed Florida. UConn is the back-to-back defending national championship. Another cool story to this aspect is that they are playing Florida, who was the last team to win back-to-back before UConn. Florida winning it in 2006-2007 seasons. So UConn trying to do what no team has done since UCLA in like the 70s, is going back-to-back-to-back 3 times in a row. They're playing Florida, who are one of the 1 seeds, definitely one of the top contenders for the national championship this year. Very unbelievably talented team. And this game was down to the wire. Back and forth. UConn took a convincing lead for a while. They were up by 10 at one point, I believe, and it looked like UConn was getting Florida fit. Florida was not shooting the ball as well as they normally do, and UConn had a great game plan, a lot of great offensive action that they were just scoring at will on at times. And then for like 3 minutes, UConn doesn't score, and Florida goes on this insane run. Walter Clayton puts up this nasty off-balance fadeaway three with 2 guys on him, and he nails it. And that was kind of the nail in the coffin for UConn. I mean, UConn hit a last-second three, but was not enough to win the game there. They just didn't hit the shots late. A great game of two teams. Like UConn played their hearts out and looked like a Final Four team in this game. Like they were scary. Like I was thinking, if they get past Florida, they're winning. They're going back to Final Four as an 8 seed because I don't know. They were looking scary. But just couldn't get it done. A lot of people are happy because the coach. Not a lot of fans not a lot of people enjoy his antics. I think it's kind of cool that you have such a charismatic, well, not charismatic, but you have a coach that's so intense and cares so much about the game. Maybe he needs to tone it down with what he says a little bit, but he won the championship 2 years in a row, so I mean, he's not stressing. 1 seed Florida survives a very, very tough test, and honestly, I would say that they were going to play Maryland next, and they could either face Arkansas or um, who else could they face? Arkansas beat St. John's. They could face. Let's see. Texas Tech. I would say out of all those teams, even though UConn's the 8 seed, I would say that's the toughest test out of all of them. So I think Florida is probably going to the Final Four, unless an upset happens. But I think that was one of those big tests for those 1 seeds that you need to make it further. And then Duke playing Baylor. Um, this game was kind of even at around 25, 20 points clip. Both teams were playing well. Duke Baylor was getting a lot of offensive rebounds, tip ups, drills. They were playing great. They were scoring. Um, not Tyrese, Roach, former Duke player for 4 years, graduated, went to Baylor. Would not have played this year. Dude's buns. I said this in the last episode, and I'll say it again. I think that he's overrated. I think he's turnover prone. Lapses in judgment does not make good decisions as a guard, as a point guard, when you should be the one making the most correct decisions because you're the leader of the team. Um, Very spotty shooter. Either he's gonna hit some. He has hit some big shots in the past, but more often than not, he is not a great shooter. He will go weeks shooting horribly and have that one good game. Undersized, so he's a liability on defense. Big liability on defense, in my opinion. And then, so it was tied. Pretty close game. BJ Edcombe, one of the best freshmen in the entire NCAA. Actually, Cooper flagged one of his teammates, Wright the third or whatever, from Montverde Academy, as we know, a very famous high school team. now playing each other as well. He's also on Baylor. And then Duke on this big run. Cooper Flag got hit in the eye and he came out a little bit, but he's fine. And Duke were on this big run. All of a sudden they're up 10, and then it gets worse. And all of a sudden they're up by 20. And then as you can see, they won by 33 points. 23 points. Once they gained that 20-point advantage, I think it got back down to maybe 15, 13. And then immediately Duke responded, went back up to 20, and they did not lose that 20-point lead for the rest of the game. I would say probably like 10 minutes. Over 10 minutes, they were up by 20 points. Go ahead and check the stats of that UConn Florida game first. I forgot to do that. Both teams, obviously Florida shot way better from three. They shot almost 50% clip. UConn shot under 30 for almost 50% from the field. Free throws, Florida, that was one of the big ifs for Florida. They were shooting horrible from free throws. Out-rebounded them. Only 6 turnovers for UConn. Clayton had 23, that big three. Was 5 of 8 from 3. He was cooking. Martin had a big game, for sure. Ball was shooting okay, had 8 points. McNeely had 22, had a big game. Garbrandt, I don't know how to say his name, 14 points. He was playing very well. So UConn played its best, but it just wasn't enough. Back to over this Duke game, though. This was an absolute smackdown. Baylor's had a lot of injuries this year, but even then, I think it's one of their down years. Even with the young talent they've got, which I'm assuming both might go. Edgecombe would definitely go to the NBA, but I would think that if I was him, I would stay, try and be the man next year. But Duke just pummeled this team, absolutely pummeled them. 64.4% from the field, which is insane, and 54.5% from three, so over half. It's quite insane. They shot 23 free throws. Baylor only shot 10 because Duke, if they weren't getting points, they were getting free throws. They were driving a lot, tough with the ball, getting a lot of fouls. This was one of Duke's best games of the year, I would say. Unbelievable performance on both sides of the ball. Great defense as well. Very sound defense, not committing a lot of fouls. They knew the need to fucking block out, though, because they were getting way too many offensive rebounds. They got 18. Look at this. Baylor got 18 offensive rebounds. That is almost impossible to happen against Duke, but it happened. And that was the only reason why they were even close. So they need to fix that real quick. And they still won by 20 points. 17 assists versus 9 is insane. Only 6 turnovers. Baylor only had 5, so they did really good turnover-wise. Duke does cause you to turn the ball over quite often. Cooper Flag had a very silent 15 points in the first half and only 3 in the second half, but he was more of a facilitator tonight. He had 6 assists, getting guys open. He was like, with Flag, he could be Bob dominant and score 30 points a game if he wanted to, but the great thing about him is he wants to get his players involved because he knows how good he is and he knows how people collapse on him, which then gets other people open. A very selfless player. That's one of his best qualities. He had 18 points. Sion James, only 6 points. Another game where he struggled to shoot the ball, but he's still a great defender, very strong, very powerful, can get to the line. Still a great player, but we need him to play a little bit better, I think. Knipple, kind of a quiet-ish night, 12 points. Only missed 1 shot the whole game, though. Like, he wasn't taking a lot of shots. He only took 5 shots. But he played tremendously. Melawa had 8 points. 3 of 3 did not miss. Mostly because they were alley-oops. Proctor had himself a game, another game where he shot over 60% from 3. In fact, he is the first Duke player to have back-to-back games with 5 or more three-pointers since Jon Scheyer, when he won the championship, and he's now obviously the coach. He had 25 points, was 9 of 10, missed 1 shot all game. He was 7 of 8 from 3. Arguably his best game in his entire career was this game. I mean, dude is shooting lights out. If Tyrese Proctor continues this trend and continues to shoot at a 60-70% clip, we are winning the championship. This is what we've been missing, I feel like. It's Proctor, because he played professionally before he came to Duke in Australia, I believe. So he had a lot of problems coming in. I thought he was going to be one of those big-time scorers that we can just give him the ball when we need it. Great shooter, but he has struggled the past couple of years. Still a great player, I think, but I think he's finally coming into form in the tournament. It's incredible to watch, and I really hope he continues it, because it's really hard to keep this streak up. really hard, but I hope he can do it. Another tough game for Evans. He is not. I don't think he's made a single three in March Madness yet. I think he's like 0 of 10 maybe, or close to 0 of 10. Gillis was 2 of 3, finally shooting well from three. He has not struggled, but not what I expected. I thought he was going to be around a 40% clip or higher this year, considering most of his shots will be just spot up. Nagoba, I don't know how to say his name. I think this guy's gonna be great this year. Sorry, next year. He's gonna be the starter, and he's gonna put up like 20 points a game. He is so great defender, great rebounder, but his offense ability in the paint is incredible. Great footwork, great decision making, will make tough shots. I think he's gonna be huge for Duke next year. Huge. Star. Caleb Foster also playing well off the bench. Hit 3 for 3. Great defender. Probably our best defender, I would say, on the ball defender is Caleb Foster. He's a great player. And he's finally coming into form late when we need him the most. So he's a great player off the bench. And now that he's shooting better, we can actually pull him off the bench and put him in more. So we have a great defender and he's shooting the ball well. Duke is so deep now, it's insane. Kentucky and Illinois, this was not really that close. It was close for a little bit. Kentucky took a 10-point lead at one point and they never gave it up again. Kentucky played extremely well. They're looking dangerous, looking deadly. Neither team shooting it too well from 3-point land. He got rebounded, only committed 5 turnovers. That's very, very good. 18 assists is very, very good. Tunis, if I ever say his name, probably their best player. One of the best players. Boswell, other best player, 23 points. Sorry, Boswell's not the best player. That's the guard that normally doesn't really score that much, but he had a big game. Was kind of carrying him the whole game. 23 points for Brea. Impressive. Robinson is out. That's the guard that transferred from BYU. He's one of the best shooters in the nation. He's out with an arm injury or hand injury. So I'm hoping he comes back. He's a really great player to watch. He hit, I think, a big shot for BYU last year. He had like 30 points or something in one tournament game. It was insane. Alabama and St. Mary's. This game was kind of close a little bit. St. Mary's was holding on, but it was too little too late. Alabama pulls off the lead because they almost won. They won by 14 points. So they kind of, at the end of the game, they kind of was like, okay, here's the skill gap. Alabama's definitely the better team, and they pulled away. And moving on. Let's go ahead and check out the St. Mary's only shot 21% from three, so they're white. They're white boys, so they normally shoot good from three. Bama finally having a good game of three. 41% is really, really good. See. Sears had 12 points. Youngblood had 13. Sears did not make a single three. He's 0 of 4. But Youngblood was 3 of 3. Nelson came back in the game after injury. He's been playing well, 12 points. He's a really great player. With him back, they are dangerous. I will say that for sure. And here's the thing about this March Madness. There have been some upsets, but nearly not as many as we had in the years past. In fact, this is the first time since 2017 that all the 4 seeds made it past the first round. So a lot less upsets. As we know, last year we had no perfect brackets after the first day. This game, it was yesterday that we finally had the last perfect bracket. So we almost got past the round of 32 in the Sweet 16 with the perfect bracket remaining. So not a lot of upsets. And most of these games, some of them do come down to the wire, but a lot of them, it's a close game, and then the better team on that day picks up that 10-point lead and they can't get by it. So there's not been a lot of super tight games where it's a one-shot game. Whoever, either they make or miss, and that's the game. Most people are wondering, where's the madness in the March Madness? Some people say it's been kind of disappointing. Well, we finally got that with 12 seed Colorado State and Maryland, both really good teams. Colorado State, one of the best 12 seeds I would say in recent history. I'm not gonna lie, they could have gone to the Final Four. God, they're a good team. But they're playing Maryland with one of the best freshmen in the nation. Let's go ahead and look into this game right here, what we got going on. Maryland shot well from three, 41%. Colorado State did not, only 23%. Both shot 40% clip from field goal range. Low free throws, both around 10 to 12. Colorado State rebounded by 10. Under 10 turnovers both teams, which is very, very good. Decent assist ratio, 15 to 11. That's really good. 21 points for Clifford. 0-6 here. That's tough for 0-6. 36, not too bad. 0-3. Come down here. There's Queen, had 17 points, 2-3. Gillespie, another great player. Reese, the brother of Angel Reese, the most annoying person on the planet. But anyways, so the thing about this game was Colorado State had a little bit of a lead, back and forth. Baylor came back and forth. Absolute dogfight the whole game. Colorado State on the fast break. They get it. With a great play. I get a three, kind of deep, not on the line, but more deep. And he nails it. Holy shit! It's 7.9 seconds left. Colorado State hit the three. They're up by. They were down by 2. Now they're up by 1. Colorado State just won the game. Maryland gets the ball. Obviously, they're going to give it into their best player, Derek Queen. He takes the drive to the left. Great defense. He has to shoot it off balance, off foot, pretty far from the paint. And it hits the top cylinder or like the square, and it banks in. Buzzer sounds, game over. We have our first buzzer beater in March Madness at the hands of one of the best freshmen in the league. The madness is here. It was an incredible game. I missed the whole game because I didn't know it was on. But I saw the buzzer beater. It was awesome. First buzzer beater at March Madness. Then we get Ole Miss and Iowa State. Iowa State, one of those really good teams in the nation for a while. Then they lost their. Then they kind of went downhill. Lost their best player before March Madness, and they got smacked by Ole Miss. Absolutely smacked. 91-78. Tough loss for Iowa State, who was a 3 seed, got blown up by a 6 seed. You don't really see that very often, a 6 seed blown out a 3 seed. But it did. Ole Miss, first year head coach Chris Beard, who's never gotten fired from Texas, is looking to send his team to Sweet 16, and he did. And they're not even one of the best teams in the SEC. Now, they have beaten a lot of good teams, so they're a dangerous team. SEC is the best conference in basketball this year, by far. It was awesome to see Chris Beard perform well and have his team, because I like him. I think he's a great coach. I think if Texas would have kept him, they would be a national contending team. Ryan Terry got fired from Texas, thank God. He's probably one of the worst coaches I've seen in my entire life. But whatever. Ole Miss, Sweet 16. Mexico and Michigan State. This was another one of those games that was kind of close. Mexico, a very dangerous team. They got Dent. Rich Pitino, the son of Rick Pitino, playing Michigan State. Tom Izzo. Izzo was very good friends with Rick Pitino. Coached together or against each other for a long, long time. They're good buddies. This game was kind of close for a lot, and then, as I said, like most games this year, the better team pulls away late, and it's just too little too late, and they can't make enough shots. Michigan State wins by 8 points. They played very, very well. This was a very good game. Neither team shooting well from 3. Both at a 40% clip. 28 free throws for Michigan State, only 10 for New Mexico. They needed to get to the line more if they were going to win that game. Got out-rebounded. 10 turnovers or under for both teams, pretty good. Dent had 14. Didn't take a single 3, which is surprising. This Washington guy was 0 of 5 from 3. That hurts to go 0 of 5. Atkins had 16 points. He played very, very well. Fears, only 5 points. Did not make a single field goal, surprisingly. Carr off the bench had a tremendous game. He was big. But the rebounding was the big key of this game, was the offensive rebounding, and the rebounding late was really huge for Michigan State. That's why they kind of won the game, I think. Oregon and Arizona. Oregon was up by 10. And I'm thinking, oh, they're going to smack Arizona. And Arizona started hitting shots. And all of a sudden, they're up at halftime. And Oregon State pulls it back a little bit. Arizona builds that lead back up. And it's a dogfight all the way to the finish line. And they just can't hit their shots. A lot of mistakes for both teams, but Arizona made the best plays. A old Pac-12 team, as we all know, Oregon went to the Big Ten. The Pac-12 has been pretty much dissolved, but will be renewed, I think, next year. I think, is they're going to bring in a bunch of new teams. Oregon Ducks went to the Big Ten. Arizona went to the Big 12. We all miss the Pac-12. We all do. 50% from 3. Arizona was 10 of 20. Very, very good. Both at around 22 and 24 free throws. Arizona out-rebounded them. under 10 turnovers for both teams. Biddle had 16 points. How do you say that last name? 25 points for him. But Love had 29 points. Here's the thing about Love. Very spotty shooter. Most of the time, he's taking stupid shots and he's missing. But it's going to come a game where they start going in. And watch out. It's one of those games. Watch out. He was hot. 5 of 7 from 3. He was hitting all these shots. 29 points. Look at this. 12, 12, 12, 12, 29, 2. That's hard to guard. Really is hard to guard. So Arizona going to the Sweet 16. So, before we end the video, let's go ahead and check out Sweet 16. What we got coming up? We got 6 seed BYU from the Big 12. Very dangerous team playing Alabama. This is going to be a good game. I really think BYU has what it takes to beat Alabama. Now, here's what they got to do. They got to have Alabama on a bad game. If they play Alabama and Alabama shooting well, they're not going to beat them. But if they get into a game where Alabama's not shooting well, BYU definitely can win this game. And it would not shock me if BYU upset them. Maryland and Florida. This is going to be another big test for Florida. Derek Queen, they got to shut him down. He is their go-to guy. He is amazing. Then we got Gillespie. He's also a great player. I personally think that Maryland's road will end here. I think Florida might win this game by 10. To be honest with you, I think this would be a much bigger upset of Maryland beating Florida than BYU beating Bama. Just not gonna lie. Then we got Arizona and Duke. Duke has played Arizona before. They actually went to Arizona and beat them by, I think, 10 or 15 points. I think this game will be another game that Duke will win by 10 or more. 10 to 15, maybe even 20. This will probably be the biggest. This will be an insane upset if Arizona pulls this off, but I don't think they will. I think Duke is going to cruise to victory here. I think their defense is too good and their offense is just too good. They beat him before. I think Arizona's playing well when they need to, but I don't think they're a good team. But they're playing well when they need to. So, in a way, they are a good team, but whatever. I'm not a big Arizona fan. Arkansas and Texas Tech. Arkansas is kind of that Cinderella this year. This is really only our true Cinderella left. It's Arkansas as a 10 seed. I believe. Let's go check. I believe they're the lowest seed left. Yeah, they're the lowest seed left as a 10. So they're our Cinderella this year. They beat 7 seed Kansas, Bill Self, as well as Rick Pitino's 2 seed St. John's. Calipari, first year coach, coming off Kentucky, took a lot of flack. Had not been in Sweet 16 in last 4 years for Kentucky. Only won one. In fact, they only won one March Madness game last 4 years. But Kansas was dropped in the first round for 3 years out of those 4, and then obviously only won one game. Now in the Sweet 16, the first year Arkansas, they had a tough year. Bookie Fland, their freshman guard, is back, and they were playing lights out. Very athletic, very physical team, great defensive team. And look out, they're playing Texas Tech, though. Texas Tech is a very sound team, very, very good team. This is going to be another battle. There's no way this game is not close, down to the wire. Very chippy game. It's going to be really fun to watch. You want to watch this game for sure. Yeah, my predictions, I think this is a tough matchup. Honestly, I have Alabama winning, but I would love to see BYU pull this upset. And Florida, Duke. Oh, that's a tough game. I would love to see Arkansas go through. I got a lot of Arkansas friends that used to live in Arkansas, so they are so excited. I hope Arkansas continues this. I would like to see Arkansas play Florida in the Elite Eight. That'd be awesome. And then next day on Friday, the other Sweet 16 games, we got Ole Miss and Michigan State. Ole Miss is playing tremendously well. Michigan State better be ready. They better not have another bad game when they're shooting bad. They better be ready. This is a tough team. Very dangerous. Going to be a great game, down to the wire for sure. Kentucky and Tennessee. 2 SEC teams battling it out. Going to be another great game. A lot of great games right here. That's another toss-up. I really gotta be real. These two games are toss-ups, man. You just don't know who's gonna come out swinging, and who's gonna get that last knockout blow or that last great play. Michigan and Auburn. Michigan is one of those teams that was actually predicted the most to get upset by UC San Diego, and then playing A&M. Up here, everyone was saying they're gonna get knocked out the first round. They got first-year coach Jesse May, who took FAU to the Final Four. last year, so he's got experience in taking a team that had no business, quote unquote, being in the Final Four, taking them to a deep run. So he's a great coach. I think Michigan's going to be good for many years to come. I think he's an incredible coach, very, very young, bright future ahead. Maybe a championship on their way. Probably not this year, but Auburn did struggle against Creighton. That was one of their big tests. I think the Auburn wins this game, but they will be tested again. Maybe not the whole game, but they will be tested by Michigan, and it would be a big upset. Michigan pulls out. Purdue, none of those teams had a tough end of the season. I think they won, like, lost 4 games in a row, and they played very, very well in their last 2 games. And they're playing 1 seed Houston, who just came off beating Gonzaga. Houston's looking good. Both these teams are really good. I think Houston wins this game. I think they're just better in all facets of the game. Um, it's going to be a great game. I'm really excited to see what's going on. So that's going to be our Sweet 16. Hope you guys are ready. As I said, not too much big upsets this year. Not too many. Our lowest seed left is a 10 seed. All 1 seeds remain. All 2 seeds are still in. We've got 4 seeds, 3 seeds. But still March nonetheless, my favorite time of the year. That'll be it for today's video. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe for more content. And as always, this is Z3 signing out, y'all.